All right, guys. Welcome to the very first StreamYard episode of Armbars and Suplexes. I am your host, Alec Miller. Got my other host right here. Oh, this way. This way. Wait, I don't know. This way.
Like
Yeah,
this.
there you go. It's the opposite way. I got I got Jesus sitting right here, kind of next to me. Not really though. Here. What's up, Jesus? What's going on?
What's going on, man? Really excited to do this first StreamYard. Technology and me kind of don't mix sometimes, but this is pretty cool, man. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. So people are finally going to be able to see what our faces look like, and that we were really meant for radio.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna have a
Internet.
great episode. Yeah, internet radio, I guess.
Internet radio at that, yeah.
So we're gonna have a great episode talking about all the stuff that we wanted to talk about Sunday. Unfortunately, things did not go that way. But I think we have enough time now to jump into all that stuff that we wanted to talk about last week. A lot of stuff happened in the world of wrestling and MMA.
Well, the thing about it too is, man, is with this StreamYard, we have a little bit more flexibility. So we'll be able to talk about whatever we want to talk about, whenever we want to talk about it, however we want to talk about it. And like you said, there's so much stuff going on in the world of wrestling, as well as MMA, and also going forward. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about on the eve of this weekend's fights. And actually, I think there's some fights going on right now in Bellator, which we don't really talk about. But there's also some wrestling going on right now, right?
Yeah, SmackDown's on at the moment. It's about to be over in about 25 minutes. But yeah, like you said, this opens up a lot more opportunities for us. It makes it where we can talk about Bellator sometimes. We can talk about PFL or ROH or Impact or all this stuff that we don't normally talk about because we don't have the time in terms of a 2-hour show. But when we can, if we're able to space things out in certain ways, maybe short, like little 30-minute episodes sometimes, this opens up a new world to us, I think.
Yeah, man. I think the other thing too is at least for me, I felt we should be doing some like rapid reaction or some, early Sunday morning reaction to whatever happened on Saturday night or what have you.
Definitely. Imagine how cool it would have been if we could have reacted to Lee knockout right as it happened. That'd have been cool.
That's the other thing too. You mentioned too, we could do like a fight companion if we want to watch a video while we're doing this. So fight companion is also cool sometimes. But also too, like on Sundays after the big wrestling pay-per-views, we could do some rapid reactions and where we go from here. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's something that's missing in both of our sports entertainment.
Definitely.
So I think that opens the door for us and also for our fans to be able to, come chill with us and talk with us. And there's comments you can comment on here. You can ask questions.
Yep.
It also gives us more content for our Patreon that we're gonna have up eventually. Right now, just recording, I got an extra 5 minutes that we can put up on Patreon if we wanted to, So there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're just real excited, man. We just opened a new door, so.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go ahead and jump into something that was really big news, and it was actually kind of scary news in the world of wrestling. So last week, WWE had their Crown Jewel event happened on October 31st. So Thursday morning, or like during the day. Thursday, like at 1 p.m., I think it started over there in Saudi Arabia. We all know, well, not everyone maybe that is listening for the first time, but the people that have been listening for a while know how I feel about the Saudi Arabia events. I don't like them at all. I think that I'm getting a weird echo. Can you hear that?
No.
That must just be me then. So yeah, I think that the Saudi Arabia events are against like a kind of code, or kind of like it just seemed unethical with all the things that happened with the journalists we've talked about before. So we've talked about it before, that I just don't like those events. I think that they go against everything that we stand for as a country. But Vince got paid $100 million for it, so
real quick,
we got to deal with it.
Real quick, you talking about the journalist? It's Jamal Khashoggi, who was brutally kidnapped and murdered by Saudi Arabia and actors of Saudi Arabia. So we're not going to go into all that, but we just want to make sure that people know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
At the same time you say this, is a big thing going on as well. I think it seems to have crested already in past with the Houston Rockets and China. And it goes to the same thing, which is talking about money versus sport versus ethics. What's okay? What are we okay with too as fans? And that's a big question for you too, Ali, because I'm a fan of wrestling. I watch the clips. I go back and watch those those matches that you tell me to watch, and then I watch them on my own, like the suggested ones after I watch that on YouTube or what have you. So I consider myself a fan, but I don't think I would pay for that. I don't think I'd watch that. I don't think I'd want to do anything to do with that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to support it personally.
You don't want to what?
I don't want to support it.
Yeah. So with that being said, so what happened, man? What came out of that?
All right. So apparently that the Saudi Arabians, the prince and their royalty, they have not paid. There's like an unpaid unpaid receipt, I guess you would say, or ticket that they owe the WWE a bunch of money still from their last event. So when the event went over time, Vince cut the live stream in Saudi Arabia. So he didn't cut it on his network, but when it was airing over there on television, he cut it. He cut the feed.
While it was going on, dude?
While it was going on. Because they went over time, and he was like, you know what? They owe us money. It's a negotiating tactic, I'm assuming. They was like, cut the feed. Cut it. And that's what he did. Saudi Arabian government got upset and actually held over. I don't know the number. It's a large number of WWE employees, including wrestlers, including referees, including backstage personnel, were basically kind of held hostage on the tarmac.
Are you serious?
Because the government would not allow them to leave.
So this happened when? Last Saturday or last Sunday?
Last Thursday.
Last Thursday. Wow,
Yeah.
I can't believe, man. I've been under a rock, man. That is amazing to me. That is I mean, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. You play with fire, you get burned. That's what happens with these nondescript countries that have a crap load of money.
Yeah.
You're playing with fire, man. And what's his name? Vince McMahon is something else, man. Like at that point, at least if it's me, hey, I'm just gonna cut my losses and I'm not going back. You can say it's 100 million, but you only pay 20 million. So your 100 million offer to me is always going to be reduced by 80% or whatever it is,
Don't forget, this is a 10-year deal.
Yeah, man.
But they're only in year 4.
Yeah, but I'm sure, I mean, Vince being a shrewd businessman, that right there, late payment is means to get out of that deal if he wanted to,
We'll get into that in a little bit. But so as it was unfolding, because I was following it while I was at work, getting the notifications sent to me about what's going on, the updates and all that, because I was really interested in this because I've never heard of this, never seen this before.
Oh, this is crazy, man. This is wild, dude. Because they're all U.S. citizens too. So right,
yeah,
for the most part.
So the first hour it happened, I was like, okay, because don't forget they also had WWE SmackDown the next day. Okay. So they're trying to get back home.
Oh yeah, they need to go to the show, man.
To get to be able to there. Like Bray Wyatt won the Universal title. He was supposed to be on the event. Other Raw SmackDown superstars were there. So as it was going on, I was like, okay, fine. Maybe just a little hiccup or something. Like some people were blowing it up. Some people were kind of downplaying it. But as time went on, as hours and hours went by, I started to get scared. I was really, especially after I heard that it was because of money and that Vince cut the feed and that the government was not very happy. I was starting to get worried. I was starting to wonder, are we going to see like something really bad happen? Because we don't know in these countries.
Yeah, I mean that's I think the unknown. I think we're all scared of the unknown. But that right there, man. I mean that is scary, man. Especially on a tarmac. I don't think they would cause harm. I mean, it's obviously a possibility. Everything's possible. Anything's possible. Especially with what we just saw with a journalist who's an American citizen, a U.S. citizen, Khashoggi. So it's possible. I don't think they would do it on that public of a stage, with that public of a company, with their partnership that they have, because they basically, I mean, they have stuff invested too. There's a reason why Saudi Arabia did a deal with the WWE. They want WWE. They want their product, they want that recognition and that what's that word, like to make them feel credible, that credibility as a country. So when you do something completely that upends that, they have a lot to lose as well. So I don't think they were in danger for the most part. I just think it was like I don't know, it could have been a move like you needed to go by our rules, you're gonna get paid, but you need to do what we say, kind of like, I don't know, like seeing who's gonna blink first, playing chicken. And so what happened? What was the resolution to this, man?
So basically, as time went on, the Saudi Arabian government eventually let them go. I think it was like Friday in the evening, though. They were there for a long time. I think they were on the tarmac for about, I want to say 6 hours is what I last heard.
Were they tweeting and stuff, and were they like reaching out the people on board and stuff, or what?
People on board weren't reaching out. I'm trying to see because there was a thing about a new deal that WWE made a new deal with Saudi Arabia like a couple days after this. Made a new deal. So I'm trying to find it right now. I'm having trouble finding it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think once I find it, I'll bring it up. But it's just crazy, man. Like the things that happen, and then there was all this talk about WWE needs to unionize, and all this stuff. Like the superstars needs to unionize, which I'm kind of like on that side now.
You weren't before?
Crazy. I mean, I was, but now I'm like, this needs to happen. I think like it's something like that where they basically didn't have any choice. And to hear that Vince McMahon actually left way before this happened, like I guess he kind of had an idea that something was like this was going to happen, and left on his private jet. Brock had his private jet. Hulk Hogan had his private jet. Same with Tyson Fury. They all got out, but everybody else was just left on the tarmac.
Those are the big guys. They ain't gonna do it to those big guys. It's the little guys. You know, you've heard me before. I think I've written about it too. I'm a big proponent of entertainers, fighters having unions to protect themselves. I mean, there's just so much that these companies do to fighters without, making sure that their well-being is being looked after, and also that their future is being looked after. I mean, look at the NFL with the concussions.
Yeah.
Boxing, they had to pass a freaking law, the Muhammad Ali Act, to help boxers as far as their money goes. And that doesn't even include health or health coverage. So yeah, man, I'm definitely a big proponent of that. But I also want to flip this to you. This is a big deal for AEW, man. I mean, if I'm AEW, I'm telling every potential wrestler that wants to come to me or that's a free agent, we're not going to leave you on the tarmac in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to do that to you. We're going to look after you. We're wrestlers, for wrestlers, by wrestlers. We did this. So, we got your back. That's a big bargaining chip that AEW has now, thanks to Vince McMahon and him, leaving his team out there on the tarmac, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll see what happens. But I guess some good kind of did come from this. I wouldn't say from that event, from that like Saudi Arabia, on the Saudi Arabia side, because apparently we're getting more of that. I don't want it, but we're going to get it. But there was a big thing that happened. So even though there was a bunch of superstars left in Saudi Arabia, something big happened on SmackDown, and because the show had to go on. And I will say it is the best episode of SmackDown that we've seen in an extremely long time.
Really? And
I'm about to put it on the screen. 1 second. There it is. NXT invades SmackDown.
Nice.
So for those that don't know, Survivor Series has become brand versus brand, basically. Mm-hmm. So it's Raw versus SmackDown. It's for brand supremacy. That's what they always say, even though it was always Raw that won because Raw was the A show. Raw was the show that Vince McMahon loved.
That's right.
Well, this year they are adding NXT to that equation. So before it was SmackDown, it was Raw versus SmackDown, champions versus champions. So you would have the Raw Women's Champion taking on the SmackDown Women's Champion. You had the tag team champs from both shows going up against each other. The United States Champion versus the Intercontinental Champion, and then WWE versus Universal. So now we're going to get, well, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen with the WWE and NXT and Universal title like I wanted it to happen, because Brock Lesnar is already scheduled to face off against Rey Mysterio at Survivor Series for the title. But we are getting the women's match, which is going to be Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Shayna Baszler.
That's
and
nice.
We're going to get
that's really nice.
And we're going to get the Undisputed Era versus Viking Raiders versus, I don't know if it's aired yet on SmackDown, but versus the New Day, who just won the SmackDown tag team titles tonight. The reason why I know this is because the show was filmed in UK, so it was filmed earlier, and I looked at the results. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, they're out there, right?
Exactly. I'll probably read the Raw ones later. So that's big news. And the way that this show went basically was The first match was Bailey taking on Nikki Cross in her women's title match because Nikki Cross earned a title match. So she's facing off against her. And Bailey defeats Nikki Cross. And out of nowhere, Shayna jumps the ramp, attacks Sasha, who's at ringside, and then jumps in and starts attacking Bailey. Bailey's able to kind of I think she gets her in the Kirifuda clutch. So she kind of like passes her out, makes her pass out, and that's about it. Or she runs her off. I can't remember exactly, but it's something like that. And Shayna Baszler's left there standing tall. We get multiple sightings of superstars. We had Rhea Ripley taking on Mandy Rose. It was just a cool night.
You didn't spoil it for yourself on this one?
SmackDown last week wasn't taped.
Oh, so it was live, right? So
yeah, it's live.
So how did you feel when you saw that, man?
Dude, this is awesome. Like I was so happy. NXT's been awesome. I've personally loved NXT more than AEW these past few weeks because NXT just has much more of a. We talked about my problems with AEW already.
Yeah, we did.
NXT has just been a lot more consistent in their storytelling. I have so much more investment in where each superstar is going. So NXT's been killing it every week, and then adding in the invasion of NXT and Triple H backing the NXT invasion because he runs NXT and he's literally there. At first, there was a funny clip. I'm actually gonna see if I can pull it up real quick.
He ordered the code red, is what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, and it was awesome. And it's funny because it was like he was capitalizing on the fact that everyone was gone. Half the locker room was gone, so why not? That was the best time to invade.
Very strategic.
So they took a negative of a lot of superstars being gone, turn it into a positive.
Oh crap, man! So this is because they were on the tarmac.
Yeah,
man, this is awesome, man. This is so was it planned? Do you think it was planned or no?
No. I think they threw it together. Maybe they had like a few things happening, but I think this is all thrown together.
Man, that's awesome, man. That's a real heady thing to do for that show, man. And that show's kind of I don't know, man. As big a company as WWE is, they have a lot of ability to be fluid. So that's actually pretty cool, man. That's really a cool thing on their part. And what's better than 2 is obviously 3, man. So you think NXT is gonna go into Raw as well, or what do you think?
Well, they went onto Raw, so they also attacked on Raw this past week.
Okay.
And then we had on NXT, AJ Styles and the OC attacked the Undisputed Era backstage before NXT started.
Nice.
So it's gonna be awesome. I'm trying to see if I can get this to work, because I want to show this kind of funny clip that we got. Hold on. No. I just happen to be sitting home watching. No, that's not right. You can hear it. I'm trying to get to show it. Hold on. And they're all really bad quality. Hold on. I'm trying to get the backstage. I can't find the backstage one, but it was funny because Daniel Bryan was backstage. And he ran into both Shawn and Triple H. Got in Triple H's face. Was basically saying he was looking for a fight. And Shawn Michaels. And Triple H I got someone. I got someone that's ready to fight. And Shawn Michaels standing right next to him. And you see Shawn Michaels kind of taking off his jacket, like he's like get ready to fight. And then Triple H is like, "Oh, you thought you were gonna fight him? No." And then Shawn Michaels puts it back on and does like that. And then he reveals that Adam Cole's there. And
nice.
Get this: Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan in the main event of SmackDown last weekend, and Adam Cole gets the clean win.
Really? No controversy, no nothing?
No controversy, no nothing. Adam Cole gets the clean win. All the NXT superstars come out with Triple H in the ring, and Triple H basically tells them that this is war.
Nice, man. I like that. That's a good show. I'm going to go back and watch it now.
Yeah, definitely. Topped it with we just got Finn Balor turning heel on NXT. Which is an awesome moment from last week. Yes, and it's awesome. The turn was freaking sweet, man. It was too sweet, if I may say, because that's the Bullet Club thing that they say.
Oh, yeah.
So, man, that was a really good weekend in wrestling for sure. NXT.
So that was last weekend.
Yeah.
To Saturday night UFC 244, dude.
You going into 244, and then this past week NXT was pretty cool because we get it announces. I don't know if you ever heard of the match War Games. Have you ever heard of War Games match?
I mean, I think I've seen a promo for it.
Okay,
But I don't remember too much of it.
so that was a WCW match that I believe Dusty came up with, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, and I'm pretty sure someone who's listening to this will eventually.
Correct you.
Yeah, exactly. um, so where the way it happens is that it's two teams,
Mhm.
of multiple superstars. So say it'd be 4, 5, 3 people, or multiple teams. In the first War Games that happened in NXT, it was three. It was 3 teams of 3, but it's multiple teams of multiple members, and it starts with 2 people. So the 2 people start, and there's a cage. So there's 2 rings, and there's a cage covering those 2 rings. So it starts out with 2 people one from each team. They start in the ring, and then they're wrestling for 5 minutes. I think they wrestle for 5 minutes, and then a buzzer goes off, and randomly chosen from a team, the next member of a certain team comes out. So
Randomly.
yeah, so I'm pretty sure they decided beforehand.
Okay.
So the order's random. So last year it was the Undisputed Era taking on the team of Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and the War Raiders. So that's 4 people versus 4 people. They started Adam Cole and Ricochet. When the buzzer rang, Bobby Fish ran in, and so it turned into 2-on-1. And then when the bell rang again, boom, one of the Viking Raiders came out, and then it was 2-on-2. And then the buzzer rang again. Third guy from the other team comes in. It goes like that back and forth until all members are in the cage. And once all members in the cage, the match is won by pinfall or submission.
That's wild, man. That's like giving somebody a head start for what you said 5 minutes per
5 minutes, it's 5 minutes, and then after that it's 2 minutes. Yeah, so they do the first one a little bit longer because it's two guys, and then once it turns into like multiple people, they short it down to 2 minutes.
That's interesting, man. I thought you were gonna do something like I thought you were gonna say he was something like a gauntlet, like it's 1-on-1, and then whoever wins calls out somebody else from the other side, or something. I don't know.
No, it's pretty cool. It's a fun, chaotic match.
That's what I was gonna say. I bet you it's crazy because everybody just keeps coming out and stuff,
Yeah, so this year it's going to be 2 War Games matches. So we're getting the men's is going to be the team of the Undisputed Era, which is Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, and Roderick Strong, the guys that are draped in gold.
So that's 4?
Because they're all 4 champions. So you have Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, who are the tag team champions. Roderick Strong is the North American champion, and then Adam Cole is the NXT champion.
Okay.
Taking on the team of Keith Lee, the glorious Keith Lee, Matt Riddle. Which nice. we all love Matt Riddle. Who doesn't love Matt Riddle?
The Matt Riddle fan club over here.
Exactly. And Tommaso Ciampa, which you know how much I love Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, he's really good too.
And a partner to be named. So we don't know who it is yet. But I don't know yet because I was thinking, maybe Johnny Gargano, but Johnny Gargano is the one that got attacked by Finn Balor. When Finn Balor turned heel, so it seems like we're getting that.
Yeah, you have that going on, so he's not gonna be on here.
So I'm not sure.
But it's only 4-on-4. They're not gonna add a third team of 4.
No, I think that's where they kind of go a little too far. And the Undisputed Era has been taking over and kind of being a-holes to everybody. So it is what it is. But that's gonna be a great match. And then they announced the first all women's takeover War Games match. So we're getting Shayna Baszler's team of.
Which is the what do they call it? The 4 Horsemen? Or what are they called?
The 4 Horsewomen, but she said that she wants Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke on the outside. That she wants them holding it down on the outside just in case someone tries to interfere or something.
Yes, if someone else tries to interfere.
Yeah, but it's him.
Exactly.
So it's going to be Shayna teaming up with Io Shirai and Bianca Belair, and one more teammate to be announced, taking on Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, and Tegan Nox. And she just announced on this past NXT that her 4th member was going to be Mia Yim, who kind of came out of nowhere because in the storyline, it was Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, and Dakota Kai kind of getting attacked and trying to fend off the 4 Horsewomen and Io Shirai and all that. So Dakota Kai, Rhea said that she wasn't going to pick Dakota Kai because she didn't believe she had the killer instinct. So Dakota was like, let me prove myself against Shayna. She ends up getting tapped out by Shayna, and she ends up getting tapped out by Shayna, and Rhea decides to name Mia Yim as the last member, kind of leaving Dakota Kai out to dry.
So that could be another angle that they're going for as well.
Yeah, so I have two thoughts, and after this, we're gonna go ahead and have a little break. I have two thoughts. A break.
Yeah,
break for the edit.
Yeah, there you go.
So my two thoughts are the first one that I think a lot of people are thinking, but I'm not entirely on that train yet, is that it's going to be Dakota Kai being named as the fourth competitor for Shayna's team. Okay. But doesn't add up because I don't see why Shayna would take someone that she just tapped out. Why would she put her on her team? So and also Dakota Kai has after coming back from her long injury has had a really good face run. I think it's not over yet. Like this is like if they would have turned Bayley at the height of her face run and turning Bayley. Like they turned Bayley at the perfect moment.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so like let's milk this for what we have it for. What my thought is that Mia Yim, who in the past has been offered a spot in the Horsewoman by Shayna, but turned it down.
Declined it.
Yeah, I think Mia Yim is actually going to turn on the team right before the War Games match happens. So it'll leave Rhea with no other one slot to fill, having to use Dakota Kai, and
being forced to.
Yeah, like there's nobody else, so fine, Dakota can do it. They'll maybe have Dakota coming in around as the second or third person. I don't think she's coming last. I think they're gonna have Candice come in first, then maybe Rhea, then Dakota, then Tegan, is how I would probably do it. And then somewhere in the match, maybe to win the whole War Games match, having Dakota Kai pin Shayna Baszler.
Oh, that would be nice.
Which would lead to a women's title match. And I think in the best form of long-term storytelling I could think of, because when Shayna Baszler first stepped foot in NXT, she was attacking people and like she quote unquote broke Dakota Kai's arm in I believe her first match on NXT. Like, and then there was constant storylines where she was scared of Shayna. Mm-hmm. So I think the best way to like go full circle with it is have Dakota finally persevering and beating her for the title, which would then lead to Shayna probably going to the main roster.
Yeah, well, you've been saying we've both been saying that she probably should be on there.
Yeah,
but that they were probably holding her back specifically for this whenever they got on the weekly show, right?
Yeah, for the weekly show, and then also probably waiting for Ronda so they can all four be at like a WrestleMania or something.
Yeah, which that I don't think that's gonna come to fruition anytime soon, huh?
Not anytime soon. There's constant talk about when Ronda's coming back, but I don't think we have a for sure like time date because I don't believe she's pregnant yet.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And well, I mean, she hasn't been too much in the limelight recently, but there has been some stuff with her and her former coach out there. But yeah, man, I agree. I think that would be a good way to do it. My question would be, no, you're all right. My question would be, if it's the first, whenever there's been another first for women's, has anything like that happened where it's like, so much going on at the same time as far as you saying that she's going to be left without and forced to get the other, what was her name? Shayna Kim what was her name? Kim?
Mia Yim?
No.
Oh, the other one, Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai. Having to get Dakota Kai to kind of come in. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, like, is that too much for the first time they get to do this War Games for women? Is that too much is what I'm asking.
Maybe, but maybe that's why we'll see. I just said that because like that's what I've seen WWE do before, where it's a big change, and it sets something up that's kind of big. But I could see them maybe announcing that the week before, maybe like that Wednesday NXT showing Mia Yim turning on Rhea, and then Rhea having to find a partner, and then deciding or Dakota like when Mia Yim turns on them, Dakota Kai comes out and makes a save and just kind of cleans house.
Yeah, just kind of like helping the drama.
Yeah, and like Dakota Kai is like standing there in the ring with Rhea, and then Rhea, shakes her hand or something,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
No, you're all right, man.
Sorry, my son put Big Mouth on Netflix. He can't watch that.
Oh, man, he has good taste.
Not yet though. So yeah, a lot of great stuff happening in NXT. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it right here for the break, and then talk about on the other side of that break. But we're gonna continue it here.
35-22.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with UFC. So I'm gonna start it. The official, you can say we started at 31 minutes.
Okay, but over here it's 35-38.
Okay, well, let me know when it gets to 36.
All right, you got about 13 seconds.
All right. Wish we had somebody live.
Oh, you can tell?
Yeah, I can see the eye, but there's no live viewers at the moment.
All right, that's 36. Let's go.
All right, so we're back here on Armbars and Suplexes. I forgot to mention, you can catch all of us on Twitter. You can catch the show on Twitter. You can catch show's Twitter at Armbar Suplex. So let me get that real quick. Hold on. Put it on the banner. Follow the show at Armbar Suplex. Right? Armbar Suplex, I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
All right, so Armbar Suplex. You can follow me at Alec Miller 0423. And where can they find you?
You can find me at The Real Jesus, and that's spelled JEEZUS. T-shirts are coming soon to the Patreon.
Oh man, it has to. So find us anywhere that you listen to podcasts at KTXF The Real, and SoundCloud. SoundCloud's probably the biggest one because we're able to see all the downloads and all that. So, yeah, we post things. I talk wrestling all week. I actually posted that theory on Twitter earlier this week.
How'd it go?
I got some people saying like that they could see that happening, and a couple of likes. So that's pretty cool. And then we post our fight predictions every week.
Every week we have this one coming up. We're probably gonna post them after the show or maybe tomorrow morning.
Yes, probably need to do it after the show.
Because, after the show. It's an early one, right?
Yeah, but I think it starts at 11.
So we got time, but I'm gonna do mine tonight because I don't want to mess with it. I'm trying to get my championship that I didn't lose back. Never been defeated in the ring, undefeated.
I wish you see my waist. Can't see my waist. Hold on. That's my title. Win by draw. I'll take it. Retained via draw because, like you told me before, you have to beat the champion.
You have to beat the champion. Unless you're the champion, right? And you didn't be the champion. But hey, and that's a different story. We can talk about that later. I don't want to bring that up. We don't have to talk about how you took the championship without beating the champion. We don't have to talk about that. We're
Defender vacate, like our man Tony Ferguson says. Defender vacate.
Hey, you know what? I respect that, man. I respect that.
All right. So, and you said I probably would have beat you on that one because I made some pretty good.
I think you would have beat me on that one. I really do.
And I'm gonna tell you right now because I'm starting to watch a lot more UFC and know who I'm watching. I have not lately been having to just randomly pick somebody. I'm able to actually look oh, I think that guy's gonna win. I think that guy's gonna win. But let's go ahead and jump into UFC 244. 1 second. So we have it on the screen for everyone to know what we're talking about. There it is, UFC 244. I guess I should have wrote the other stuff. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, all right, man. This is the first one. There's a lot of stuff coming with it. So
yeah, we are ironing out the kinks for sure. Right. Diaz versus Masvidal. So Jesus has the card pulled up, so we can go kind of fight by fight. Because were you able to go back and rewatch all the fights?
No, I mean I've watched clips of them. Like I said, I've been under a rock, but I saw most of them. Yeah, I actually think I did. I'm going back and I think I saw most of them. I mean, there's so much to talk about. We can go through the fights, but I also wanted to talk about the lead up to the fight.
Go ahead. Jump into that first.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it on the last one, but there was a huge issue with Diaz and testing positive for a banned substance.
Yes.
So that was a big issue. I want to talk about it. I want to give it a few minutes.
Definitely.
First of all, the New York State Athletic Commission sucks, in my opinion. I don't think this was an issue with the New York State Athletic Commission. I think this was a problem with USADA, which is the independent third party that does the testing for the UFC. USADA has their own problems, in my opinion, and I will tell you to go look at their record for boxing. They've been boxing's number one tester for like the past 10 years. And they've, if I'm not mistaken, as of like last year, they've only caught one boxer in a championship fight out of over 10,000 or something stupid like that. So that just from a number standpoint and a percentage standpoint, that's impossible. That's like literally impossible to have only 1 out of 10,000 test positive for something.
Yeah.
So that just tells you kind of, in my opinion, where they're at and how they're not credible. But the UFC wants to be taken credible. They want to be taken as a major league. So they contracted them, and they've had some ups. They have some highlights and some lowlights. I feel this is going to be a low light once we look back at it. So Diaz tested positive. They tell him to just be quiet and go along with it, and then they'll deal with it after the fight, which is a huge no-no. And it kind of shines light on some other fights that have happened in the past that afterwards they were popped and they were retroactively taken to no contest. But Diaz didn't follow the rules. He said, no, this is ridiculous. I'm not a cheater. I don't put anything in my body besides X, Y, and Z. So USADA somehow magically does a super fast testing of those supplements that he says he takes, and they find that one of them is tainted, and they allow the fight to continue because they say he wasn't doing it on purpose. Which to me, I mean, I like Diaz. You know, I'm a big Diaz fan myself, and Masvidal too. But I just think that that's kind of BS, man. Like, you test positive, whether you did it on purpose or not. Ignorance is not okay. You can't go out and do something here, you know, break the law and say, oh, I didn't know. You know, you're still getting tied up for it. So it just sucks, man. It just sucks that that's the sport, and it's all based on different athletic commissions. And we'll get to the athletic commission again, because the athletic commission was a huge issue in the fight itself. And it just depends, man. Like, some of the better athletic commissions, and I say better and they still suck, are Nevada, which majority of the UFC fights happen at, and also California. And California is a mixed bag, but they're better than average, you know. So New York is one of the last ones to ratify MMA to be able to have fights there, and that's why the big Madison Square Garden cards are huge, because they've only had like 2. But it just sucks, man. It just sucks that this controversy loomed over it, and it just sucks how the UFC, Diaz, and the Athletic Commission handled it. I don't think they should have fought. I think it would have sucked. As a fan, you know, I wanted to see the fight. You know, I love fights, but I don't think it should have happened. They would have lost a crap ton of money. And we would have been held left in the bag as fans. But the right thing is, man, is if you test positive, man, you know, you got to sit out, man, because think about it, man. He didn't take it knowingly, but it gave him an advantage. If he goes out there and starts his Masvidal, then we're like, is it because of that? He didn't take it on purpose, but he had an unfair advantage, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. I was just thinking that, you know, like, there's no. It seems like with USADA, there's a lot of shady stuff that happens, man. Like, it's very odd.
There's a ton of shady stuff that goes on, man. I mean, there's a big okay, so like Floyd Mayweather, man. Floyd Mayweather's never been caught, but he's been caught through USADA multiple times, and he settled with them, and he gave them money to go away, basically. And it's out there, you know. And there's also on Mayweather's testing, if I'm not mistaken, I'll go back and look at it again, but you know how they'll retroactively go and test a sample that they didn't have a test for it back then, but they found a test for it now. So they've gone back and tested him, and he tested positive, you know, for stuff back then. You know, so yeah, USADA is not. I mean, I don't think they're the greatest. I think, I don't know, man. And that's the thing too. Like, it's all about money, number one. But I also don't think that they're 100% corrupt. You know, I just think that they have some issues and with credibility and with consistency. You know,
yeah, I get you.
But I also think that Diaz did the right thing by
speaking out.
Speaking up, man. Like, it kind of spoke to and kind of validated and confirmed a lot of thoughts and theories that fans had, that why do they always fight and then it comes out after the fact? because they've been testing before. But no, now we know. They know ahead of time, and they're letting the fights continue so that the UFC can make their money.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like that's weird. I think that's the part that probably gets me the most. Like, one, I don't know I don't know about all of that. I do find it odd that it did seem to happen like a week before, or like that, and then
It was
all
like
of a
2
sudden,
weeks. Yeah.
now all of a sudden it's like, oh, this fight's not happening.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they hear all the backlash, and then it's like, no, wait, hold on, guys, like it's gonna be okay. Like they're still fighting.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it was crazy. And they had the head of the UFC anti-doping, I don't know, area management, whatever. I forgot what his name. Nowitzki. I forgot what his name is. Something Nowitzki. Jeff Nowitzki. They call him the golden snitch. What's his name? Brendan Schaub.
That's what. Yeah, Brendan Schaub calls him.
He calls him the golden snitch. They did a press conference, and he was at the press conference. And let me tell you, he's never at a press conference. So for him to be there, I just thought it was ridiculous, man. It's like, all right, they're I mean, as much as because Genovisky used to be head of USADA, so he used to be like a bigwig over there. So that's why they brought him over to implement stuff over here at UFC. But just when he's out there, he's not only the head of the USADA stuff for UFC. I mean, he's also a mouthpiece for the UFC and as far as PR goes. So he was out there. He was answering questions. He was the one who said that he was going to allow Diaz to fight because he didn't take it knowingly, and they found out what it was, and they've been able to rectify it and all this other crap. And I don't know, man. It's just if you get caught, you shouldn't fight. And think about who's been caught, man. And what I'm saying, like, we wouldn't have seen John Jones fight the last 3 fights because he still had those picograms in him. We wouldn't have seen all these fights from him. We wouldn't have seen the Diaz fight. And as a fan, I'm okay, man. Like, and it's funny because I say that, like, on here, I'll say that. And in private with my friends, I want them just to legalize it, man. I want them to legalize all the juice in the world because that way it's a level playing field, man. Some of these guys are taking stuff that they can't test for, and they're winning fights, and they're gonna find out 5 years from now that they were taking it, but it's already done. Their careers are already over. Just let it go, man. Like, you're never gonna have a clean sport. You're never gonna have, especially like in Russia, man. I was telling you on the Patreon part of this broadcast, the fights are in Moscow, man. Zabit's from Moscow. Zabit's from Russia. So you're picking Qatar, but not only does he have a home field advantage, he has a home field advantage. So it's just make it legal, man. Let all these guys be juiced to the gills, and let's see who's the best.
Are you like I don't know if you ever heard that Daniel Tosh joke, the stand up where he was like, he just started off with like, sports needs steroids.
Yeah, man.
He's like baseball especially.
Well, I don't know about baseball. Baseball, I'm more of a purist in that sense, and I want skinny Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. I don't want juiced Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. If that makes sense.
Well, the joke goes, he was like baseball especially. He's like, baseball's a strike away from being soccer. He's like we live in America where we already have entertainment. So watching a guy go, or watching people kick a ball back and forth for 90 minutes for the score to end 0-0 is an entertainment.
Yeah, man. I mean, at least for the most casuals of baseball fans, they don't like to see pitchers duels. Yeah, exactly. I love that, dude. I love seeing Cole.
It's the equivalent of a grappler's fight.
Exactly, of a Khabib fight against somebody who can't take him off of him. Yeah.
Askren. That's what everybody was billing that as, is that it was gonna be so boring.
Exactly, and I don't know, man. The thing is too, like with MMA is different because it is their health on the line. But if everybody knew, then you'd get the real ones in. Like,
look at Demetrius Johnson though. Like, Demetrius Johnson, his first fight over there at won. He had a hard time. And then now the dude's champion.
Yeah, exactly.
He's having a good time. He's perfectly fine.
He's probably, I don't know if he's juiced, but I don't want to say that about Demetrius Johnson.
You don't have to say it, but I mean, it might be true, but at the same time, it's like,
I could tell you that once he's fighting, I'm juiced.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, definitely. We saw how big I think the first guy he fought was gigantic.
Dude, like it looked like it was 2 weight classes difference, man. And it was like, how did you lose that weight to make that, and then go back up to like 205? That doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah, I think it comes down to if it's like prior knowledge. If the fighter that's fighting the guy who's juiced knows and decides to not juice as well, it's on them. But at the same time, you can also use that to your advantage.
Yeah, man. And at that point, like, again, I've had this argument with my buddies, and they're like, well, what about the guys that can afford the designer drugs? I said, it doesn't matter, man. A designer drug is only a designer drug because it's supposed to be hidden. It does the same thing that a non-designer drug would, like HGH or whatever, So just, it doesn't matter, just level the playing field. In my opinion, that will never happen. Level the playing field, let everybody juice, and we'll be fine. But since that doesn't happen, then you need to have somebody better than USADA that has the fortitude, the ethical compass to say, no matter what happens, whether you do it by accident, whether it's a tainted supplement, whatever, it's not gonna happen. The fight's not gonna happen if you pop for juice. Mm-hmm. And that way you stop fights from happening when somebody has an unfair advantage, no matter what.
Yeah, I see. I see what you're saying. But the fight did happen. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this was billed as one of the best cards in UFC, and I think it lived up to the hype.
I agree, man. There was a lot of knockouts. There was a lot of surprises, a lot of competitive fights. I think that's what we like to see too, is competitive fights. There was some highlight reel knockouts.
The biggest highlight reel knockout.
Yeah, there was a big
I'm pretty sure we saw a guy's soul leave his body.
Yeah. Did you see what he said after that?
No. I think so. I think I take in.
Well, go ahead.
I'm saying if I think his response to somebody saying if he was still sleeping or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's something like that.
No, what I remember. So what we're talking about, guys, is Kevin Lee versus Gregor Gillespie. I thought Gregor Gillespie was going to win. I went back and watched that fight. I don't know if that fight got to him or what, but that's not the Gillespie that I've seen in the past. It's not the killer that I've seen.
Yeah.
He looked timid and just overmatched and overpowered. And Kevin Lee probably fought the fight of his life, man. Because he was on
to lose.
Yeah, he needed that fight because he was going to be on a huge losing streak, and there would probably been no reason for him to be on the roster. But he won, and he head kicked knockout. He did a head kick knockout to Gregor Gillespie. Gregor Gillespie said later on in an interview afterwards that he was fine, and it was a picture perfect kick, the best kick he's ever seen, is what he said. Yeah, landed on him.
Yeah, let's wait to talk about that, because there's also some big not consequences, like ramifications for that fight as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So the prelims were kind of not the early prelims. We're not that great, kind of boring. So right off the bat, you had Hakeem Dawodu taking on Julio Arce.
Yeah, we both picked Dawodu, but Dawodu won. Yeah,
Dawodu won. Nothing special, I don't think. I'm waiting for. I don't know, like, because Dawodu seems like one of those guys that just has all like the makings of a great fighter. I just haven't seen it put together yet, and at least the two fights that I've seen.
Yeah, he needs more seasoning, man. He needs more seasoning. He needs more fights. He needs more challenges, really. I mean, whenever I say seasoning, I'm talking about challenges. He needs to see different types of fighters, different speeds, different power, different techniques. And that's what he needs, man. And he also needs to get comfortable in the cage too. So I agree, man. He needs more.
Yeah. The one after that, kind of brutal to watch, man. Lyman Good taking on Chance Recounter. So I picked Recontre because I thought he looked really good in the wrestling game in his last fight, and you picked Lyman. And Lyman basically destroyed Chance because Chance couldn't get him to the ground.
He couldn't get into the ground. The thing is, Lyman Good, I mentioned to you in the past, he's a really good fighter. He used to be a Bellator welterweight champion at one point. The only losses he's had are two good fighters. I mean, probably better than average fighters, maybe great fighters, I would say. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even think it was gonna go to the distance either, and it didn't. And if he fights wrestlers, he's really good at counter wrestling and sprawling and brawling, which is, where you stuff the shot and you just want to stay on your feet and stuff. And I thought that's what he was gonna do, and that was his path to victory. Yeah, and that's kind of how it worked out. He's a tough out, man. You got to be really, really better than him, like on every level, to be able to beat this guy.
I will say Chance needs to work on his head movement, man, because he was taking some heavy shots from Lyman, and good on him, because Lyman even said that that dude's tough as nails because he gave some shots that he thought should have knocked him out and didn't go down
Well,
until it looked like
well,
he didn't even. It was more like a give up at the end. Like he
yeah,
just couldn't
man.
take anymore.
It was an accumulation of punches, but usually when it's accumulation of punches, it's like maybe like a Diaz where they're not that heavy, but they just keep piling on. But these were an accumulation of heavy punches because this dude does have a chin. And we've seen recently in these past few fight cards some guys with some chins, man. Like even Giffords, Giffords, he got his butt whooped for 3 rounds, but you got to give
not nearly as bad as that.
I know, but he has a chin, man. He didn't get like
he did
completely knocked out until the very end.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like he has a chin. The dude has a chin, and mostly any other fighter probably would have been knocked out before he got knocked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Lyman good, looking good. Oh, pun not intended, but I'm kind of happy about it.
I think he's on a 2-fight win streak now, so he's kind of making a little bit of moves in the welterweight division.
Welterweight, that's stacked division though, as we all know.
Yeah.
So the next one, once again, I kind of didn't care about. I didn't care about it one because of
the champion.
Who?
The champion?
Oh no, not that. I'm waiting for someone to give her a challenge.
What's gonna be the one who won? Caitlin Chukugian.
And what was this again? This is
Flyweight.
a flyweight.
This is Valentina Shevchenko territory.
She's gonna lose. She's gonna get knocked out. But so Chukugian, Jennifer Maya.
Maya
we already know Maya didn't make weight for one. And this is apparently her second time that this has happened.
Yes.
So that's the big deal, and she lost. Chukugian she doesn't move the needle for me in terms of like watching her fight and like if she excites me or not. Like she's very much like by the numbers type of fighter. And JoJo Calderwood brought it up. Like the reason why she lost to her is because she was expecting a fight and Chukugian was just looking to get through the 3 rounds.
Hey man, it's funny because and Masvidal is guilty of this too, and Diaz said it too. I mean, hey, yeah, it's the fight game, it's MMA, but also within a rule set, man. So know your rules, man. If you're gonna get upset because somebody beats you on points, that's on you, man. You need to you need to be able to knock people out, but you also need to be able to win them on points. And that's all part of the fight game, man. Like you gotta know who you're fighting. You gotta know after the first round, okay, this person's not really trying to engage, they're just trying to win on points. So you know what? I have 2 rounds to win on points to outpoint them if that's what they want,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not wrong. And I'm just saying from my perspective, like I didn't see anything that I see her beating Shevchenko.
I don't either, man. But
not one thing.
Shevchenko needs challengers, man. So she's 13. She's 13-2. I think she has a 3 or 4 fight win streak going, something like that. So I mean, that's the only option at this point, man. Unless you have somebody else that you want to see her fight. Or
I'd have to look at the list, honestly. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do that while you go ahead and we did see her at the fight. Shevchenko and Antonina Shevchenko.
Yeah, they were both there.
They were both there.
She changed her hair color, right?
Yeah, it's a brown. It's a nice
brown
color.
Now. Yeah, I think it was getting a lot of reactions. Not like you usually say mixed reviews. There was no mixed reviews. There was a lot of positive reactions to that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, definitely a lot of positive reactions, I think. So I'm pulling it up right now. So at 1 is Chukugian, who went up. 2 is Jessica I. When we know what happened there.
Yep.
3 is JoJo Calderwood. You know how much I like her.
Yeah, but she's still not there because she just lost to Chukugian too.
She lost to Chukugian, but she did win her last fight.
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't remember who it was against.
Was it Beck Rollins? No.
It was over. It was on that. I might be able to pull up her last fight. Hold on. Because I'm on the UFC's website. Let's see. Last record. Event results. Lee. So she beat Andrea Lee.
Oh, KGB.
Yeah. So she beat her September 7th in what's it called? Saudi. It was Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. Okay.
Yeah. So then 4 is Carmouche, who Shevchenko just beat.
Mm-hmm.
In one of those fights that probably Chukugian will give Shevchenko. So we know that Shevchenko can take one of these fights that kind of like isn't exciting.
Mhm.
Even though it seemed like the reason why Carmouche has the reason why Shevchenko fought her like that is that she was afraid.
Yes, she didn't want to get
But
knocked out.
yeah, but this is more. I think Shevchenko. I mean, will probably be able to go up against Jakugian. Yeah, so that like right underneath Carmouche 5 is Maya, who just lost.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, that's the only one. Shikugian is the only one that she can fight. They're gonna make that fight happen. It's taking a what is it? Something to slaughter.
Taking
The lamb is it
the
the lamb to slaughter or what is it?
maybe.
I don't know.
I
She's
don't
getting
remember.
slaughtered. She's getting slaughtered.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
because like I don't see. I'm looking right here, so we have Viviane Araujo, but not
Mm-mm.
impressive lately.
Mm-mm.
Andrea Lee just lost recently.
Mm-mm.
Lauren Murphy, who just went up one. I don't.
That one, she's been on a little run. Remember, I picked against her, and she actually won, and won in kind of impressive fashion.
I'm about
So
to-
I think she needs one more fight, and then that will probably be another challenger.
Okay. Then I'm looking. Roxanne Modafferi,
No,
who in her last fight wasn't impressive. Macy Barber, who's been impressive lately, called out
yeah,
Paige
but
Van
she's kind
Zandt.
of she's kind of Paige man. She's not even
She
she's
doesn't
not
have
even
her eye on
trying.
that.
Yeah, she's not even trying to get there, man. She has all the opportunity to get there, but she wants the money and she wants the easy fight.
Yeah, surprisingly, Molly McCann's not on here.
Meatball. She didn't make weight, right?
Did she make weight?
I don't think she made weight.
Did she not? Maybe
That's
that's why.
Yeah.
But like I think she's probably she called out Macy Barber, so maybe she'll get Macy, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so Shakugian gonna get the fight probably against Shevchenko, and Shevchenko's gonna probably kill her.
Yeah, man. I mean, that you know what? Let's talk about that real quick. As an aside, let's spend 2 minutes on it real quick. If you're Shakugian's team, do you accept that fight?
No.
I mean, let's be real though. Let's like, I mean, me and you would say no, but it's real life. You're her manager. She's ranked number 1. You believe in her, but it's Shevchenko. Like it's Mike Tyson. It's what's his name? Roy Jones Jr. It's John Jones. It's like, and you know that there's such a huge gap in experience and talent and technique and speed and power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do?
If I'm her manager, I gotta tell her to take it, right? Like, because I'm her manager, I need her to.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get her to make some money. I will tell her, take her to the ground.
Really? Because it's that easy.
Yeah, that's all I can say is take her to the ground. Because if you get caught with that kick or that punch, man, like that's it. You're lights out.
But it's like you're saying you want to make her money, but wouldn't this like not make her money? Like she's gonna get beat down. She's probably gonna get knocked out. Is that confidence gonna be the same? Is her fighting gonna be the same afterwards? Like, you know, like maybe if I'm the manager, I'm maybe avoiding this at all costs. Oh, she's hurt. You know, let's book it, and then she's hurt, or you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to like float along, not fighting her until I feel she has maybe a year more under her belt, maybe 2. I don't know.
But the thing is, like, there's no one else for her to fight. Like, what she doesn't have to take a fight against Calderwood because she already beat her. Even though it's not like the best victory, she still beat her. She doesn't have to take that fight. Dude, hold on. Carmouche maybe, but at the same time, like Carmouche is spouting that she still has all this power.
I don't know, man. I'm just thinking from the management standpoint, like, why would you do that? Like, I mean, to be in the fight game, and I've heard this being said by boxers and MMA fighters and everybody, you have to believe you're the best in the world, or you have to believe that you can beat anybody on any given day. That everybody's mortal, everybody bleeds, everybody has weaknesses and deficiencies. But that being said, at the same time, they're also human. They're also people. They also are smart, and they know that there's huge chasms between talent sometimes, you know. And this is one of those times, you know. Like, there's no, like, I don't want to see that fight. I mean, in my eyes, it's already, you know, and we've talked about that, like the Rose Namajunas fight with Andrade. Namajunas was 99 out of 100 times supposed to beat her, and for 4 minutes and 55 seconds, she was piecing her up and was gonna win. You know, was gonna clear cut win and probably knock her out in the second or third round. And that's why you fight, because anything can happen. But
Mhm.
those are rare. Those are rare. Those are few and far between. It was one of the biggest upsets in MMA history, that fight with Rose Namajunas. So
Yeah, definitely. We saw what happened to Andrade the fight after.
exactly, she was not a real champion in my eyes, in my opinion. But it is what it is, So I don't know. I just don't want to see that fight. I think we know the outcome of it, and it's just a waste for. I mean, for Shevchenko, it's another notch on her belt. She gets to say she beat the number one fighter. It's another defense towards her long history of defenses that are in the past and going forward.
Yeah.
But for Shakugian, it's like, what are you gaining out of it, man? Besides a beatdown and some cash.
Yeah, the flyweight division seems to have the same problem as the men's flyweight division, where it's just not enough challengers in terms of they haven't been showcasing them enough. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's weird because we all know that the men's flyweight division has plenty of talent, but they're not being featured. They're not being shown.
Man, they need to do an Ultimate Fighter or a Dana White Contender Series where it's just flyweights on both sides.
Yeah. Well, we know we're getting Ultimate Fighter pretty soon. I think at the beginning of the year. I believe that he told Laura Senko that, like, on the last episode of the series.
But I haven't heard anything of that anymore. I haven't heard anything about Contender Series.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into the next fight, which is when the fireworks start to go off. So right off the bat, Andrei Arlovsky taking on Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
Yes.
And this man Rozenstruik is becoming quickly becoming one of my, like, must-see guys. But you got to watch him quickly because he's not going to be fighting long.
Yes, exactly. He has tons of power, man. He has tons of power in his legs. He has tons of power in his arms and his punches.
So in the two fights we've seen him, he has a 10-second knockout and now a 29-second knockout.
29-second knockout. Yeah, so he's, like you said, catch him while you can. We should call him the Flash, man. We should call him. Where's he from? He's a Brazilian.
I think he's from. I'm trying to think. I don't remember. Like Cote. Was it Cota Verde?
Ivory.
Ivory,
hold on.
Ivory Coast, maybe.
I don't know. Well, wherever
Cote
he's
d'Ivoire.
from. Cote d'Ivory. I think it's Cote d'Ivory. Ivory Coast.
I don't know. Or some shit. I don't know. Something like that. But dude, he's killer. And now to find out he's probably taking the fight against Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, so he's taking a fight against Alistair Overeem, which
short turnaround. But real quick, we have to talk about why he's taking that fight. Walt Harris was supposed to be fighting Alistair Overeem, and I think it's the main event, right? Is it the main event? No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, it might have been Cole. I don't know, but he was taking in a big fight for Walt Harris, but unfortunately, Walt Harris's daughter, I believe.
His stepdaughter. Sorry, it is the main event. It was the main event.
It was the main event. Yeah, so it was a big deal for Walt Harris, but his stepdaughter was recently missing from on October 23rd, 24th.
Yeah.
And they have not been able to find her. The last thing that I read was that they have a suspect. They have the suspect, and they actually arrested him today.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, they arrested him today. But she still has not been found. It looks bad. I don't want to say anything, because you don't want to declare anything. But
no,
it doesn't look too promising. That man that got arrested was on bail for a previous kidnapping and attempted murder in a different state for a different person. So it's just not good. So Walt Harris unfortunately had to step down to take care of business, which family first. And at least my thoughts and prayers are out to him and his family.
Yeah.
But that's why Rozenstruik is stepping up to fight Alistair Overeem. This is a big opportunity for Rozenstruik. I mean, this is a huge opportunity, man. Andrei Arlovsky is a big name. He's past his prime, man. He's really past his prime. He's a little chinny. He's always been chinny though.
Mm-hmm.
But in the heavyweight, everybody's chinny because anybody can knock anybody out.
Yeah.
But that was a big fight. That was a big win for Rozenstruik. But this next fight is even bigger. It's a main event. Man. It's a main event.
Yeah.
It's Alistair Overeem. The only thing I will say is this is not the best matchup for him. Alistair Overeem is by far the best striker in the heavyweight division from a technique standpoint. He's a former K1 kickboxing world champion, and he beat the number one pound for pound guy over there in a tournament style. So that means he had fought earlier in the night, and then he finished off beating the number one pound for pound guy, Remy Bonjowski.
Yeah.
So it's just a big step up in competition and a big test for Rosenstruck. I applaud the guy for taking it. I want to see that fight. But it's going to be a tough fight, man. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, this is a big moment for him. If he can get another highlight reel knockout on the main event of the Washington card, because it's taking place in Washington, the Capital One Arena. He just moved into the ranking, so he's number 14. I just checked. He's number 14. His first fight against Albini was a second round knockout. The fight against Crowder, who was the guy I believe who beat Greg Hardy in his UFC.
No, he didn't beat him.
What was that? He was beating him.
He was beating them though. He was beating him.
And then got knocked out in 10 seconds by this dude. And then now Arlovsky, who knows chinny, probably the weakest chin, one of the weakest chins in the heavyweight division, probably due to age, knocked out in 29 seconds. So I think if Rosenstruck does this, and I'm trying to let me go back and look where Alistair's rated. He's rated number 6. So if Rosenstruck knocks out number 6 Alistair Overeem, I think he's jumping up there.
Absolutely, man. I mean that's the last 2 fights would be 2 former champions. Andrei Arlovsky was a champion for a while in the mid 2000s, and then Alistair Overeem was a champion, I believe, in the early 2010s. I think he was. I'm not sure. I don't remember if he was or wasn't. But he's still a beast and a veteran of the game, you know.
Yeah, he looked good against Olenek when he fought Olenek earlier this year. So, like you said, maybe look out Alistair, but at the same time, don't look past Rosenstruck. Cannot look past him.
Yeah, he can't look past him, man, and we haven't really seen him tested. So I'm telling you, man, I'm really excited about this fight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. All right, so next up, hold up, let me pull it up. When we have Brad Tavares taking on quickly becoming another one of my favorite guys in the extremely stacked division that is the welterweight division.
No, it's middleweight.
Oh, middleweight. Sorry, middleweight, which is even better. Yeah, I don't know why I said welterweight. Middleweight, which is extremely top heavy. Edmund Shabazian. I told you the first fight that he had, this dude's impressed the hell out of me with a first round. I believe it was a first round submission by a rear naked choke. But he was just dominating him from the minute that bell rang. And then this one, this knockout in the first round on Brad Tavares, man. I'm becoming a fan of this Shabazian, man.
I'm not.
because you chose Tavares.
I chose Tavares.
I got my loss back.
Yeah, Tavares is a tough dude, man. He's been around a while. He's on Ultimate Fighter. He's from Hawaii too, I believe. I think he's had Samoan heritage too. And he's only lost to a who's who of the middleweight division. Like he lost to Robert Whitaker, I think. He's lost to Derek Brunson, I believe. So, like people like that. Like he hasn't lost to scrubs. And so he's gone 5 rounds too, I believe. And he's been in wars. And I just thought he was gonna outclass him. I thought he was gonna outclass him. I thought he was gonna be smarter, and he wasn't. He really wasn't. He let Shabazian do whatever he wanted to do, and he got caught in a lot of traps. And Shabazian took advantage, man. And you know, I respect Shabazian. I mean, I really do respect Shabazian. I just don't like his team. I don't like, Ronda Rousey's coach. That's his coach. I just don't like all that stuff, man. But he's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. I can't deny it. I can't deny that he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
I do want to see more of him, but I just don't like him,
Well, I don't really know much about the backstage, the behind the scenes stuff. All I know is when I see a good fighter, I see a good fighter, and that's what I see when I see this guy. He's now ranked number 10. So, although he did get jumped by Darren Till. Darren Till's at number 5 right now. But yeah, so he's right here below. He just jumped. He jumped Ian Heinisch, Uriah Hall, and Brad Tavares. Well, Brad Tavares. And he's right behind Derek Brunson, Ronaldo Souza, Gastelum, Hermanson, Till, Cannonier, Romero, Costa, and Whitaker. I want to see this guy get a fight. Who knows? Maybe he'll get a Kelvin Gastelum or or a Hermanson fight?
Mm-mm.
No, why
No, I
not?
think because I mean I still think that that's a lot for that guy.
He's
Who was?
number 10.
Yeah, I know,
Do you want
but
him getting Brunson?
yeah, I probably want to see Brunson. I think
Okay,
he's like a journeyman gatekeeper guy. So
okay,
I want to see him. If he beats him, then yeah, now I want to see him against Gastelum. Now I want to see him against
yeah,
Cannonier. And I want to see him against the top of the division. But Brunson is a good barometer. You know, he'll
yeah,
tell you if they're ready. You know.
yeah. Well, I mean, this kid has the same body style as Adesanya, which is interesting to see. Like because they're lanky. He's
Yeah, they're
not big.
lanky. I
Blue,
mean,
Blue,
that's the Anderson Silva
Anderson
page. You
Silva.
know,
Yeah, that's because like at the top you have uh, Whitaker, who's not a meathead, but he's a big dude.
he's a big dude. Yeah,
You have
he's
Paulo
like 5'10".
Costa, who's a
Paulo
meathead.
Costa. Yeah,
You
but
have
Paulo
Joe,
Costa's like 6'2" though, dude.
that's true.
So he's not like he's. Yeah, but you're right. He's thick. He's not a lanky guy. You know,
You have a Romero, who's a big dude.
5'10".
Cannonier, who's just jacked.
Yeah, he's jacked because he came down from heavyweight. So
Yeah, that dude's jacked. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this dude goes after this fight. After that, Shane Burgos taking on Makwan Amirkhani, and Amirkhani almost had a choke. It looked like in the beginning of the first round.
man, that was
And
scary, dude. I
blew
thought
his.
that was it.
I thought it was too. Blew his gas tank, and Burgos just dominated for the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, so that's part of what is it called? Like where you I mean you're just learning on the job, man, and you can't do that, man. And you'll see some fights where you're like, oh man, why didn't that guy go for the squeeze and try to choke that guy out? Because he's probably had a fight just like this, like Amirkhani just had,
Yeah,
where he tried to squeeze and he didn't get it, and then he blew his biceps out,
Yep.
and now he can't really strike or he can't really defend or he's tired, and he
Yeah.
ends up losing the fight. You know, so that's why some of those fighters are like, man, he had the choke and he let go and he gave up position or whatever. Well, this fight is a reason why, because you can't do that unless you're for certain that this guy's gonna tap or you're gonna make him go to sleep.
Yeah,
You know?
that's what I was telling. That's what I told my friends when we were watching it. Is I was like, dude, he blew his arms out. That's why they tell you like it's you when you go for one of those. I think it was a guillotine that he went for.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go for those guillotines, man, you got to know you have it. Or if you know you don't have it, stop trying to go for it because even though you gave a position, like you got to let go of it because you're gonna blow your arms out. And he burned his arms out.
Yeah, dude, and if you notice, a lot of the coaches in the corners will tell them don't do it unless you have it. Unless you're like you have to be in the perfect position to get it, which is like parallel with them. Is it parallel? Yeah, parallel with them. They can't be on the side of you or on one or the other side or have half guard. You have to. I mean, you can get it from half guard, but you got to be a really good jiu-jitsu player.
Yeah.
But mainly, you have to be in full guard, or you got to be standing up and jump into full guard. And even then, like let's say you're in half guard and you have the head and you have it underneath, you're not gonna get it from there.
Yeah.
And all that's doing is burning your gas tank. So they'll say, don't like let it go and try to get a better position. But fighters panic. They're just human like everybody else. They don't want to get hit in the forehead with the big elbow. So they'll hold it and they'll hold it like that until the guy finally pushes them off and he just wasted half his gas tank just holding them there.
Yeah. Well, we saw what happened. Burgos not getting. Burgos taking advantage of it.
Taking advantage and finishing the fight in round 3 at 4 minutes and 32 seconds.
Yeah, so right at the very end.
So he made it. He made it to the end. Shane Burgos is 13-1, man. He's up and coming. He has I don't know, man. I want to see more of him too. He's a good featherweight.
Yeah, man. If you take that choke and not panic, like that, I think that shows a lot about who you are as a fighter. Is that you're able to stay cool, calm, and collected, and get out of that, and then come out with the win.
Yeah, he's a fighter, man. He's a fighter.
All right, so the featured bout of the prelims, Corey Anderson, Johnny Walker. I had Johnny Walker the entire time.
I had Johnny Walker. I think the whole world had Johnny Walker.
Wow. How the and I think I've seen people say how people turn.
How the
quickly.
Turntables.
Yeah, like how it's because like as soon as he got knocked out, everyone's like, you see, you shouldn't have been talking all that crap, blah, blah, blah. Like, all right, guys, calm down. Like, oh, they say the hype train stopped. That's what they're all saying. The hype train is up. The hype train stopped. Yeah, maybe. But we'll see going forward. I want to see how he bounces back from this,
Well, at the same time, like people always say how he bounces back and how he does from this and his devastating loss. Because it was a devastating loss, man. He got beat pillar to post. He got lucky. So there's so much to talk about. So real quick, but also how Corey Anderson does. If Corey Anderson goes on and he gives John Jones a challenge, then that also tells you that Johnny Walker's for real because he lost to a good fighter.
Yeah.
If Anderson goes next and he fights somebody else, and man, I'm getting an echo now, and
Yeah.
he gets whooped up on, then Johnny Walker's not that great because Corey Anderson's not that great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one thing to talk about. The second thing to talk about, man, is the fight, the end of the fight, right? So you saw it, right?
Yeah. I did.
Accumulation of punches. He kept getting them. I mean, he was knocking him out. I mean, he's gonna get knocked out cold, basically, right?
Yeah.
But the ref stepped in, and you saw no hesitancy from Walker. Like he wasn't fighting. He wasn't fighting the stoppage. He knew it was over. And then Corey Anderson goes crazy, right? He goes crazy. He starts yelling because it's a big emotional win for him because everybody picked against him. Everybody picked against him, man.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So to me, I thought that was super necessary, as they say. Anderson, I mean, you're in there. It's a fight. You have high emotions. I mean, you're jacked up on testosterone and adrenaline. You know, so you knocked this guy out. You knocked the guy out that was supposed to make you into a highlight reel. Yeah, man, show emotion. I'm okay with it. But what I'm getting at is today they announced that the New York State Athletic Commission fined him 10 grand for the antics inside the cage, and I think they also fined Johnny Walker too for something else.
Did they?
But that's just to me, that's the same thing, man. That the Athletic Commission is bogus, man. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. How the $10,000? They also fined Gasolin for the weigh-in.
Oh yeah, the weigh-in fiasco.
Yeah. So, but they only charged him $1,000, I think.
That's ridiculous, dude. They charged him more than they did Anderson, dude. That's ridiculous, dude.
So, I think the Anderson thing, like, I'm okay. Like I said, I don't care. Like, this is one of those sports where when someone's talking, because apparently, like in the locker room or in the hallway of the locker room, because apparently when Trump came in, the Secret Service had them all like kind of for his safety, they were all sitting in the hallway, and Johnny Walker was basically saying that he was gonna knock him out. He was telling Anderson I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. So this is the one sport where when all that talking, you're gonna have to back it up.
You're gonna have to back it up because if you don't,
yeah, it looks bad, and this looked bad, and like Johnny Walker didn't look good in this fight at all. No. Corey Anderson went in there with a purpose, achieved that purpose. His game plan, he executed it perfectly. And if you want to show a little emotion, man, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm not part of the no fun league. I love seeing people that do something that they love and show some emotion. Like, dude, even guys not serious, but like guys more like straight laced, like Stephen Thompson can go out there and show that he's having fun.
Yeah,
like,
man.
If that's what you love to do, you're gonna show some emotion with it. That's what Anderson did. It wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't have been all up in his face at the very end of the fight, but you knocked out a guy. You knocked out a guy who was talking crap. Was basically saying that he was telling all the locker room there that he was gonna knock you out. You knocked him out. It looks good, and it feels good. It's hard not to get excited.
You derailed the hype train. You did it in spectacular fashion. No, you left no doubts. There's no doubt.
You might have earned yourself a title fight.
Yeah, man. You know, and the thing is that I think it's super necessary, man. Like, I've seen this sport long enough where there's guys that are very respectful, man. They're very respectful, and if you're respectful and your opponent's respectful, hey, man, that's cool. You can show a little bit of emotion. It's so funny, man, because I'm so against the unwritten rules in baseball, dude. You know?
You too, me too.
But in MMA, I'm like, there's some unwritten rules. Like, if you're respectful, be respectful, to each other, and don't showboat or whatever. But if you're talking mess, dude, if you're talking crap, if you're saying you're gonna knock me out, and you're telling me right before we come out, and then I end up knocking you out, man, you better believe I'll be in your face. I'm gonna do everything that Masvidal did to Ben Askren. I'm gonna do it times 10 to you because you said you're gonna do something and you didn't do it, and the reverse happened. I ended up knocking you out. So,
yeah, I guess it. I don't believe in any unwritten rules. There's no such thing. They're unwritten for a reason because they're not real. But like with baseball, if I want to look at my home run, I'm gonna look at my home run. I'm gonna admire it.
You're okay getting beaten in the next inning. You're okay with that?
Yeah, why not? Because then because the next time you throw it over the plate, I'm gonna blast it again. and you're gonna have no choice but to hit me. But with fighting, I think this is one sport that I probably believe in the unwritten rules even more, because if you're, it all depends on how each fighter interacts with each other. If you have a fight like with Masvidal versus Diaz, where it's just all about respect, it's all about finding out who the baddest MFer is, and you go in with that headspace, you're not going. I mean, you're going in there to beat him, but when you beat him, you come out the way Masvidal was at the end of that fight, where it's like, man, we can do it again if you want, blah blah blah. Or you get Masvidal versus Askren, where Askren's talking all this crap,
Prime example,
and you get the whole buffet.
You didn't get the 3-piece and the soda; you got the whole buffet.
The whole buffet. So, and some super necessary punches at the very end. You know, so it all comes down to how each fighter interacts with each other. Johnny Walker was being disrespectful, so Corey Anderson had every reason and every justification for what he did. So, no problem with it.
I don't have a problem with the man. I thought it was necessary. I thought he should have done that. I'm glad he did. But this goes more to show, too, if you go back and see some of Corey Anderson's old fights and some of his losses. And I think that's something with me, too. Like, I get biased with losses and how they lose in certain ways that they lose. Like, Corey Anderson has some bad losses on his record, man, where he was dominated. He was knocked out. He looked silly. He looked overmatched. He looked like he didn't belong in the octagon. But this Corey Anderson, it's amazing what confidence will do to you, man. It's amazing with confidence, because he has a lot of confidence in himself right now and his abilities. And he's always been a good to above average fighter, you know, to getting on that elite level. But he just couldn't put it all together. He didn't have that confidence. You could see it in him. You could see the tentativeness. He was on Ultimate Fighter too, so you could see it in his personality. So this new Corey Anderson with the confidence and with the cockiness, it's not cockiness. I just think it's confidence. And he's being more vocal about what he wants. It's a difference in him as a fighter. I want to see more of him. I want to see him fight the top fighters. I don't think he's ready for John Jones. I think John Jones will probably beat him, because John Jones does everything Corey Anderson does, but better. Wrestling, striking, power, speed, all that. I think eventually they will fight each other. But I think, and John Jones has said who he wants. He wants to fight
Reyes first.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part too. He wants to give him his first official loss. I think Reyes' first official loss, or first unofficial loss, was against Ozdemir. But John Jones wants to give him that loss. So we're probably going to see that fight. I don't know what's next for Corey Anderson. He did talk up at the press conference saying that if he did not get a title shot, he was going to retire. He feels he's earned it. I think it's a lot of talk. I think he's going to fight for money. And at this point, he's becoming a star, especially with knocking out a white hot, Walker, Johnny Walker. So it's good, man. It's good for the light heavyweight division at this point.
Yeah. So all right, let's go ahead and jump into the really big one,
the BMF.
The BMF. We're going to the main card, and the first card fight on that card. Really not much to talk. I mean, we got some things to talk about with it, but in terms of how long the fight took, not much, because Lee knocks out Gillespie in spectacular fashion with the head kick. Looks like Gillespie was going down when he caught it, and man, I'm pretty sure Gillespie, his soul left his body for a little bit.
I agree, man. Gillespie has a good story, except for the one part where he's a Trump supporter, which I found out. I recently just found out. Which is another funny part. Did you see Kevin Lee's post?
Yep, Bernie Sanders, mother
effer. But I thought Gillespie was gonna win. I picked Gillespie to win. The reason why is because he's been dominating every fight. Kevin Lee has looked like a shell of his former self. This Kevin Lee looked like the original Kevin Lee with all the promise and potential that we had seen. Maybe he refocused. Maybe he got on point like he was before, instead of talking about money and talking about this and he's a champion that and all this other stuff. And he refocused himself, because this Lee was sharp. He was on point. He was a really good striker. He had a lot of power. He didn't look tired. He didn't look to hesitate, and he took advantage and he knocked him out, man. It was while it lasted, it was a really good fight for Kevin Lee.
Yeah, and it sounds like Lee wants to maybe keep fighting here at
155.
At 155, which he looked great. He didn't look good. He never looked good at welterweight. He got destroyed by Dos Anjos in that fight against him. Maybe he should stay at 155 because he looks good. He sounds super confident on the Ariel Helwani show, saying
He's
he
not.
wants Makhachev next.
I mean that was, to me, that was a strategic call out, which he's never done before. He's never had any shortness of confidence, man. Even when he's losing, he hasn't had shortness of confidence. So that's normal, Kevin Lee. But the call out was kind of a surprise a little bit to me. But it's very strategic, man. I think that's a good matchup for him.
Yeah.
And it puts him in better position to where he's going to want to go in the end.
Yeah.
I also think that at 155, he's the bigger guy against most of these guys at 155. But the problem is he's struggled to make weight. So I definitely want to see him again and see if he still has that drive and motivation to make weight, and to see that he's not sucked dry and doesn't have the energy that he had for this fight.
Yeah, so the way I would say is that he had everything to lose. He had everything to lose in this fight against Gillespie. You would think that if he would have lost in some kind of highlight reel fashion, that Dana probably would have cut him. He would have been one of those next cuts. Now let's see what he has to do when he has everything to gain. He has possibly Makhachev. I believe he mentioned something about Hooker.
Hooker's a bad fight.
Yeah, probably, but I know he's calling guys out. Maybe he'll get. I would like to see him against Makhachev. I really would.
Yeah, I think that's a good fight. I think it's a good fight for him. It's a good fight for Makhachev, big name. Not a lot of people want to fight Makhachev, man. But I mean, if he's calling him out, dude, I want to see it.
Yeah. So with Gillespie, all I can say is I want to see him fight again.
Yeah. I mean, this is a setback. It's his first loss. Remember, I told you that I don't like undefeated fighters like a Reyes, because they haven't learned to lose. When you learn to lose, you figure out what they did to beat you. You figure out what your deficiencies are, and you kind of shore those up and get better. And then you start looking at yourselves through a different prism. Like, I'm not invincible. I can get knocked out just like everybody else. So if I'm fighting myself, what openings and holes do I see in my game so that I can tighten them up? And I think that's what Gillespie's going to look at now. He's going to see, hey, I was on a roll, but this guy derailed me. What do I need to do so that doesn't happen again? And I think that's in Gillespie's arsenal as far as his fight IQ, and I think he's going to come back better, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm probably about like 75-25 that he'll probably never get knocked out like this again.
I doubt it, dude. I mean, I think, I don't know, man. It depends on how they come back from it. But usually when fighters get knocked out like that, they're really hesitant. I mean, look at Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson just got knocked out, and we're going to talk about him right now. But he looked really good, man. So it's that mindset, like you have to have that mindset that you're not going to get knocked out like that again.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So next up, not really one that I really care about, and this is probably the reason why Rosenstruck got because Derek Lewis revealed to Ariel Helwani that he was actually up for the Alistair Overeem fight too. But I would think that because of the way both fights went is why Rosenstruck got the call. Is Derek Lewis, even though he won this fight against Ivanov, Blagoy Ivanov, he didn't look amazing. He looked good. He's a lot more leaner.
Did you think he won the fight?
I think he won, but I don't think it was close. I mean, I think it was pretty close. So like it was a split decision.
So hold on.
One fighter. One judge. I don't know how he had it 30-27, which I think is crazy.
Let me give you the numbers, and you tell me who won. Fighter A had 32 out of 69 total strikes for 46.4% accuracy. Out of those, he had 31 out of 68 significant strikes for 45% accuracy. He had 1 out of 3 takedowns attempts that were successful. Fighter B had 61 out of 83 total strikes for 73.5%, so way more accurate. Fighter B had only 20 out of 38 significant strikes, so he had less significant strikes, but at a higher percentage of 52. And he had 3 out of 6 takedowns for 50% accuracy and 1 submission attempt. Who's the winner? Fighter A or fighter B?
That's tough. That's tough. I'm actually looking at it right here, right now. Fighter A did have more attempted, it seems like, but very close to the same amount succeeded. So not very many, not very much accuracy with there. Yeah. I mean, I guess I see why people have Ivanov. I think I am still 29-28, like Judge Chris Lee here is, but I can definitely see why Cologne won on one guy's card.
You mean Ivanov?
I mean, yeah, Ivanov. Ivanov won on Cologne's card.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the guy who has 30-27 for Derek Lewis. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, the only thing on that is Lewis kept coming forward.
Yeah,
for the most part. So I think that judge probably liked that. That's the other thing too, man. Like, I'm messing with you with this stuff. I told you, like, Derek Lewis could have thrown all those punches in the first round, or I mean, Ivanov could have thrown all those punches in the first round and then lost the next two. But overall, as a fight, if it was like pride rules, I think probably Ivanov wins.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a tight card, man. Like it was an ugly fight. I think it was boring.
Yeah, it was.
Derek Lewis didn't show any gas tank at all, and he got hurt a couple of times to the body. But I mean, honestly, man, at this point, I think he's 30-something, like 33, 34 years old, 35 maybe. I don't even know. He is what he is at this point. Like, he's not going to have a huge gas tank. So he needs to learn how to
knock guys out early.
Either knock guys out earlier or learn not to get clinched up on the fence and blow his energy just trying to shake him off,
Yeah.
And getting taken down and having to explode to get up, maybe learn some technique down there so that he can either hold them and force the ref to bring him up, or learn not to get taken down and do better counter wrestling so that he can preserve his small energy reserves for knocking people out, man.
Yeah,
it's tough, man. I like Derek Lewis, dude. Derek Lewis is a hometown fighter. But man, he has some deficiencies in his game, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's clear as day. Even though it's weird because he looks better than he did, like in terms of the way he looked in his stature, his physical, how he looked physically. Because he's a lot more leaner, but he's still weighed in at 260.
I mean, he's putting in the work, man, and I'm giving him. I mean, who am I? But I'm giving him like some leeway. It's his first, fight back from injury,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, it could be different. It could be he wasn't comfortable or he didn't get to do everything he wanted to do because he was coming off that injury. He didn't feel comfortable on his knee. But I'm hoping the next fight he gets, he looks better than he did last week, because last week he didn't look that great.
No, I didn't. All right, let's jump into the third fight from the main event. We have Stevenson versus Luque. We both picked Stevenson. I think we both went the same way on these.
Steven Thompson.
Yeah, so he looked good, man. I don't know why I put Stevenson. I'm dumb. Thompson, sorry. Yeah, Thompson looked really good in this fight, man. Luque, I mean, he looked okay. Didn't impress me.
Really?
Not him. He looked much better in that Mike Perry fight, but
that Mike Perry's like tailor made for Luque though, dude. Like Steven Thompson, dude, showed me a lot in this fight, man. Like he came back from a devastating knockout, which in a fight that he was winning up to that point, right? Like we both said he was winning up to that point when he got knocked out. And he did put on a show towards the end of it, but in the first round, dude, Luque was putting it on him. Leg kicks coming forward.
The leg kicks was damaging Thompson the most.
A lot, yeah. And it reminded me of the fight between Shogun and Machida. When Machida had just knocked out Rashad Evans and was a new champion, Shogun was the first challenger. And everybody was like, man, Machida's going to knock Shogun out. It's a tailor-made fight for him. Nobody can figure out Machida. He's an enigma. He's a question mark. And Shogun just proceeded to go out there and kick his legs for like the first 2 rounds. And in the third round, he knocked him out because Machida couldn't move. And I was like, man, Luque saw that fight. He's about to knock out Thompson again because he's just piecing him up to the legs. And then Thompson made a big what is it, adjustment between round 1 and 2. Moved more, switched stances more, was first to the punch versus waiting for Luque, and he just pieced him up, man, for the rest of the fight until he eventually got the knockout with the accumulation of punches. And did he knock him out? No, it went to decision.
No, it was a decision. Yeah, it was very close.
At the very end, he was really close.
It was very close.
But props to Luque too, man, for having that chin, man. I think any other fighter, what is it, at welterweight? Yeah, I think any other fighter is getting knocked out by those punches, man.
Yeah, probably.
Thompson was on point that night, man.
I mean, look at it this way: Luque didn't lose it. Luque went up. in the rankings. Yeah. Thompson also went up one. With Diaz dropping a 9 and Thompson jumping up to 8. I think Thompson looks really good. I'm really excited to see what he does. He seems like he has this like newfound kind of energy, I guess. Like even though he was always like that, he's always like more fun loving and like he looks like very calm and cool in the octagon. But he seems to have some kind of like a push ever since getting knocked out by Pettis. Like he's just like a little bit more. Was it motivation? I think.
Yeah. The only thing to me, and I don't know, I gotta go back and look at some of his fights. I just feel like he's getting touched too much now. Like he's getting hit a lot more than he normally would get hit. I don't know if that's on his part trying to make the fight better for fans, or maybe he's taking more chances to try to knock those guys out. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't bode well, with a lot of these guys at welterweight going forward. And also with his age, he's a little bit older. He's been in some wars with Woodley.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm just, curious to see how his chin's going to hold up going forward. And if this new fighting style of his is going to be able to be, I guess, useful going forward to try to get him into another championship fight against whoever is the champion at that point.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into the co-main event of the night. Gastelum versus Till. Till's very first showing in the middleweight division. I'm gonna tell you something, and you might say I'm lying, but didn't I tell you before that I was like, man, Till looks really good in terms of like how big he looks, how built he's looking for the division. But I still was like, Gastelum's gonna beat him. Something's going on with Gastelum, man. Like you thought he was gonna get a knockout against Adesanya, didn't get it, and everyone was expecting this knockout here against Till, and he doesn't get it again and loses a decision, a split decision. I believe the Adesanya it wasn't split, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was a majority.
It was a majority, right? They all had Adesanya.
They all had it 3-2, I think.
Oh, 3-2. Okay, so
but remember that the last
round, yeah,
they scored a 10. They scored a 10-8 on the last one, but it was 3 rounds to 2.
Yeah, because he dropped him in the last round.
Yeah,
but. Something's up with Gastelum. Till looked good, didn't look great. I'm not super impressed by Till. I'm impressed that he was able to go the 3 rounds with Gastelum, making the big weight change and taking the fight and just right off the bat, like that right there is impressive because that's a big test.
So Till, man, I didn't like Till at the beginning of his career. With his losses, I've been liking him more because the real Till has been coming out, and he's a real genuine person. And I don't know if you saw the controversy, but he talked about how he was scared to fight Gastelum and scared to go into the fight.
He was considering pulling out, which I wasn't like, oh, that's crazy to say. But then at the same time, I was like, and when he explained on Ariel Helwani, he's like every fighter thing. I don't know. Did you listen to Ariel's show this week?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, it's a big deal, man.
Yeah, like him saying like that, like I think he's being much more upfront with who he is as a person, like his thoughts and his feelings going into fights. He said before he's not scared to fight anybody, but you would think anyone going into the fight game has to have those feelings going into a fight of just like, I don't know if I want to do this. I got horribly knocked out by Masvidal in my last fight. I'm going up against the guy who has probably even stronger power.
Yeah, has way more power.
He probably was feeling like that. But then at the same time, Adesanya brought it up too, is like, maybe not everyone feels like that, but, there are some people out there that feel that way.
Yeah, man. I think more fighters than not feel that way, but they have this shroud of confidence that kind of blurs everything, maybe confidence blinders. So that they don't see that. But I thought it was refreshing, man. I'd like to see more of that stuff. Like, so you remember when Deshaun Watson started, doing the things with the wide receivers and the cornerbacks, and he was explaining to
Yeah.
like that's awesome. That's part of the stuff that we don't get to see that I love to see. That's why I love watching Embedded so much, man, because we get to see the background before. We don't just get to see the little fight. We get to see everything that goes around it.
Yeah.
And that's why I like Till, man. Till's a genuine dude. He's the same way with Masvidal. Masvidal had a lot of respect for him too because he knows that Till's a fighter, and he's genuine. So I like Till. I thought he was gonna lose. I like Gastelum a lot more than like Till. I've always liked Gastelum. He's a countryman for me, so he's half Mexican, which is a big deal for me. But man, Gastelum's fight IQ these past two fights has been really frustrating, man. Really frustrating. He's a top level wrestler with strong power and striking and speed, and he chooses to be second. He chooses not to be first, and he doesn't adjust well, man. He hasn't been adjusting well to these fights where he's losing. I don't know, man. The other thing too, I maybe wanted to see this as a 5-round fight, as a main event. But even then, man, I don't know if Gastelum takes this, man, because Till didn't look great. He didn't look great. He just looked better than Gastelum, And the thing I will say about Till is, man, what is he doing after the fight, man? Like, he's calling out Yoel Romero, dude. Like, why would you do that, man? Why would you do that?
It seems like it started out as a joke, and it's just kind of spiraled down to where he probably feels like maybe
I don't think it was a joke. I don't think it was a joke.
With him saying that I don't want to fight you.
Yeah, no, he was being. I think he was being very candid in that moment. Like, no, I don't want to fight that dude. That dude's a beast. Like, I don't know. There's just levels to this stuff, man. And I think I don't know. Maybe in deep down inside, maybe he feels he got a little bit lucky with not getting the best version of Gastelum, and he knows that Romero probably won't give that to him, And I don't know, man. I just think like he's probably biting off more than he could chew right now. I want to see the fight because I love fights, and I think that'd be a great fight. Hopefully, if Till has some confidence, and he's not scared. If he was scared for Gastelum, dude, and you're sitting across the octagon from Romero, dude, like Gastelum, look, I love Gastelum, dude. I'm telling you, I love him. He's a good fighter, but he doesn't look imposing. He's like 5'7". He's a little pudgy, dude.
Little pudgy,
Yeah. You look at 5'10", chiseled, 185.
Doesn't have a neck.
I mean, come on, man. Like, if you're scared of Gastelum a little bit, what's gonna happen when you're there with Romero? Dude?
Yeah, it's not gonna go good. But I actually want to see Till succeed. I love. If you don't love the Liverpool accent, something's wrong with you. That's a fun. That's a great accent. The way he talks is awesome. He's super charismatic every time he's on Helwani's show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to see more of Till. Just not against Romero. Fight somebody else.
I don't know, man. Romero already said, "I'll see you soon."
I know it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
But why don't you take on a Hermanson or something? Like he really jumped because of the fact that he beat Gastelum, who was at 4. So I mean, obviously Till's gonna jump up. He jumped up to number 5. So, but it doesn't give him he shouldn't be one of those guys like, I'm not fighting anybody below me. Like, no, dude, you're new to this division. Maybe you should fight someone below you.
Hey, man, but the thing too is he's either very smart or he's just fumbling into it. But if he beats Romero, dude, I mean, he's right up there, dude. I mean,
is he? What is it? Is he like Machiavelliing this? Is he moving everything in position like pretend? No, he's
being
winning.
Himself.
Yeah, he's winning, dude. I mean, maybe that's the key to being successful in this fight game. I just want to remind you we can touch on just real quick because we're trying to get out of here. So the fight that the way it was scored, I don't like the way it was scored. Because you literally have 2 judges that called it opposite. So one guy says 30-27 Gastelum, and one guy said 30-27 Till. That shows a really, I think it shows some kind of disconnect between the judges.
Who did you have it for?
I think I had Till, but it was probably 29-28.
Okay, so let me go over the strikes with you.
Oh my God, here we go. I had Till 29-28. That's what I had.
Fighter A, 50 out of 96 total strikes for 52%, 40 out of 81 significant strikes for 49%, 1 out of 4 takedowns. Okay, fighter B, 37 out of 69 total strikes for 53%. So that's 13 less strikes total. Significant strikes, 36 out of 67 for 53%. That's 4 significant strikes less. And then 1 out of 2 takedowns for 50% takedowns. So you have one fighter who had 13 more strikes than the other fighter total, and one fighter who had 4 more significant strikes, and they both had the same amount of takedowns, but one had more attempts.
Yeah.
Fighter A or fighter B?
I still go with fighter B, man.
You still go with fighter B?
Well, like you said, you have to look at the round by round. I know you're thinking of Pride rules. This isn't Pride.
It's a fight, man. It's a fight.
It's a fight. It's a fight. Whatever. But we're also scoring.
Who would you rather be at the end of that fight?
I don't. Dude, I honestly got to go back and rewatch this fight. I really do.
I think we should. I think that's something to do. When I was live watching it, I had. I mean, but I think I'm probably biased with Gastelum at this point. I could honestly say that. So I had 2 rounds to 1, but I will say I think it was the second round. I think it was the second round was really close, like razor thin. So it could have gone either way, you know. Yeah. But you're right on the 30-27 and 30-27 on both of them. I don't think any of them got a 30-27 card.
No. Yeah, I think that's definitely a fight that you need. I will say that whenever the result was announced, I was shocked. I was surprised because I was just like, I just felt like Till did enough to win, but I just expected it. I felt like in some point he had to kind of get like he had to be up there and like I guess more impressive win in order to win that fight.
It was kind of like anticlimactic. Yeah. Either way, like if Gastelum would have won, it would have been like, Till won, it was like okay, like all right, you know, it's a new fresh face, you know, and he's very charismatic on the mic too, you know. Yeah. So I get what you're saying, man. But then again, that's why I would say this should have been a 5-round fight. If it's a 5-round fight, I think we have a definitive winner. One's knocking out the other one way or another.
Probably. All right, let's get to the main event now. The moment everyone's been waiting for.
The BMF title.
The BMF title's on the line. The Rock is there.
Out. He did his little thing.
Yeah. Trump is there in the crowd watching the fight because we all know Masvidal's a Trump supporter.
I gotta say he got booed. He got booed.
He did get booed. But you know, he was there because Masvidal's a Trump supporter.
Masvidal is not a Trump supporter.
He said he is.
He's not. No.
Are you sure?
Dude, I went back and I went over and over and over. He just respects him because he's the president of the United States. Okay. I think labeling him a Trump supporter is a stretch. Because he even talks about he's gonna whoop that MAGA dude's ass. Which is
but it's because he's not saying it because he's a MAGA dude. He's saying it because they both got beef.
Yeah, but why would you say if you're both MAGA dudes? Why would you say I'm gonna beat that MAGA dude's ass? That doesn't make sense.
Because Covington's made it his character. So Masvidal's like, all right, I'm just gonna beat them. I'm gonna beat that MAGA dude's ass because that's what he wants to be known as. Like he's known more for that than his wins.
That's true, but I don't know. I mean, I can't say definitively he is or he isn't. I don't think he's a Trump supporter. I don't think. I mean, he's an immigrant. You know, from his parents are immigrants. I doubt that he's a Trump supporter. Man.
It wouldn't be the first time that we've seen immigrants that are Trump supporters.
I mean, he's first generation immigrant, dude. So I mean that's true, but
just saying, man. Like, there's plenty of them out there. But anyways, let's get to it. Masvidal, Diaz, the fight everyone's been waiting for. We both had Masvidal, and I think this fight really showed that Masvidal and Diaz are in 2 different headspaces at the moment. Diaz is on the making money train. Masvidal is on the I'm trying to be the best train. Masvidal, ever since his knockout at Till, he's had this like renewed research. This is the Masvidal sans.
This is the resurrection, as he calls it.
Yeah, the resurrection. Jesus is here. He was trying to baptize Diaz, didn't get the opportunity because the New York State Athletic Commission messed it up. But he was gonna baptize him in the 4th.
I mean, you don't call that a baptism, dude. I mean, he pieced him up.
I think he wants the knockouts to be known as baptisms.
I don't know, man. I mean, I would take that. I mean, look, there was a very, very definitive speed advantage for Masvidal. There was a
Hmm.
power advantage for Masvidal. There was a fight IQ advantage for Masvidal.
Technique,
Everything is
maybe.
just technique. Yeah, there's a technique you could say on standing for sure.
Yeah.
Like he's a way better striker. And I just feel like at this point in Masvidal's career, he's maybe a little bit lower on his peak physically than he's ever been, but he's way higher on fight IQ and experience and knowledge and understanding of what fighters are trying to do to him and what he's trying to do to them.
Hmm.
So he's a very, very, very dangerous dude and a tough out right now. It was very interesting. There's this Twitter account called MMA History Today or something, and it'll tweet out certain things that happened in MMA and history on this day. And one of them was where he won
No.
a fight, right? And you could see him, and he's all young. Look, it was like 9 years ago. He's all young looking. He has a fresh fade and a goatee, and he's like punching the dude. And Masvidal retweeted it and said, and quote tweeted and said, "That dude is dead. The resurrection is or the resurrection is now," or something like that. Basically saying that that fighter, that version of himself, is long gone. That's not him anymore. And it's true. This new guy, this new Masvidal that we've been seeing for the past year, both inside the octagon and outside, is a different fighter, man. And it's very awesome to watch, man. Seeing where that dude's been and where he's come from to now is pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, man, it is. You think he has earned the next shot at the welterweight title. Um,
I don't know, man.
Depending on Usman and what happens with Usman and Covington. But at the same time, he also said on Hawani's show that he wants to rest until about March. That he wants to take a break, kind of hang out. Yeah, he has definitely earned it. He's had a great year. It's between him and Adesanya for me for fighters of the year.
I agree.
I think to me, I would probably give it to Adesanya. Adesanya's
because he won a belt.
Yeah. Well, technically, Masvidal won a belt too, but
That's true.
But Adesanya, the amounts of fights that he's had, and the names as well. Whereas, like with Masvidal, I mean, it's neck and neck. Honestly, it's neck and neck. I'll probably change my mind tomorrow. But I think Adesanya, with who he's beaten, and having the fight of the year possibly against Gastelum, and then not only knocking out Whitaker once, he knocked him out twice in the same fight.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
So that's impressive. Who else did he beat?
Brunson. I think he beat Brunson this year.
Brunson. That's that. I almost said Cannonier, but he didn't do that. So yeah, Brunson is who it is. Wasn't it Anderson Silva before that?
Yeah, but I think that was at the end of last year in December.
Yeah, it was at the end of last year. You're right, but it's just the amounts of fights that he's had. He's taking all comers, worked his way up to that interim title, and then when he got the fight for the unification. Really, really showed everybody what he had. It wasn't fight of the year because it didn't go 5 rounds, but
no, he beat Anderson Silva this year in February.
Okay, Brunson was probably
Brunson was in November of last year.
Okay, so he beat Silva, and he says it himself. That was the passing of the torch. And I don't know. It's looking like it is, man. I don't see much. I don't know who he's fighting next, and whoever he is fighting next, good luck, because Adesanya looks good, but at the same time, Masvidal, who knows what he's going to be look like next year, getting all the time. Because don't forget, when he got knocked out by Thompson, he took that year break.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everyone said. That he took that year break, and now we're seeing the results of that. So
the dividends pay off.
Yeah, like what happens if he takes off? Was it 5 months, 4 months?
Yeah, from here to March, we're talking about 4.5 months roughly. Because he fought last week. I mean, the same thing with him. It's well deserved. He has his name up there. He has a title, a BMF title, which whatever you can say, whatever it is. But it was a good fight. It was a good between two good fighters, and one fighter was way better than the other one.
Yeah,
and
it's almost a blessing that the fight ended by cut for Diaz.
Yeah, it's true because he would have been. He was not going to tap out, or he was not going to. The call wasn't going to get called by his corner either, so he's going to take more punishment. But I mean, in fairness, what I will say is that cut is the same exact cut he had in the last fight, and the commission let it go. This New York commission is whack and should have let it go. That fight should not have been stopped for that cut.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
So
I think
that's
it's absolutely
it's
ridiculous.
another black mark or black eye or whatever you want to call it for the New York Athletic Commission and their doctor. Now, I don't think the doctor should be getting death threats like he has been. I think even Diaz knows that. He made a little video afterwards with him to
With
kind
him,
of
yeah.
to put stuff down. But still, there's still dumb fans out there, idiot fans out there threatening lives for stupid stuff. But I don't know, man. I think Masvidal has basically either one of two fights ahead of him. He either has Conor McGregor ahead of him, or he has the winner between Usman and Covington. Which if this is wrestling, we want Covington to win. So we
Covington
can
and Masvidal.
a huge BMF versus welterweight championship fight, 5 rounds.
Definitely.
That thing, I think that would sell over a million pay-per-view buys, dude. I think that fight would.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. But probably so would McGregor and Masvidal.
Oh yeah.
If he wants the paycheck, if he wants the money, the McGregor and Masvidal fights where it's at.
Well, real quick, what you were saying is that Diaz is after the money, and Masvidal's after the championship. But I also think Masvidal is after the money too, to an extent, and he said so in the post conference as well. He'll fight anybody as long as the money's right.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think because of the standing where Masvidal's at now, he has a better shot. Like I think even if Diaz would have won this fight, I still think it would have been a stretch to put him up against a Colby or an Usman, just because they're like big time wrestlers and probably would have wrestled the crap out of him. And for Diaz, against Diaz versus Masvidal is a way better counter wrestler, and it's just a better fight overall. And he has more credentials at this point than Diaz has, coming back off of two victories against Pettis, and at that point it would have been Masvidal. But I still think Masvidal is after the money too, but he's closer to the championship than Diaz.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like that timeline kind of works out for either fight, for both McGregor or winner of Covington and Usman, because
except if Usman wins.
Oh yeah, because if Usman wins, then he has to take another 9 months off.
Maybe a year. I don't know.
Maybe a year. Which I have some weird feeling that Usman is going to win that fight, probably by submission. Who knows?
What?
Maybe. Submission? Who knows? Well, we know Covington's not going to win by submission.
Yeah, that's true.
It's gonna go. You really think we haven't seen Covington in 5 rounds?
I don't know, man. It's an interesting fight, but for me, not for the best reasons. They're kind of like mirror images of each other. So I don't know. We're gonna probably see a stand-up fight, and I don't know. It's probably gonna be tentative, maybe a little bit of kickboxing, and I don't know. It's gonna be on points instead of who's the real best fighter, because they're too tentative to go for broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Masvidal is going to be champion before the end of next year. I'll tell you that. Oh no, it's not. I was gonna say bold predictions, but I don't know.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take. I guess hot take. Maybe. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and head out here, but before we leave, top 2 fights of tomorrow's card: Volkov versus Hardy. Who you got? Give me a little taste of your predictions.
I got Volkov, man. I'm never gonna pick Hardy, man. It's not gonna happen.
I'm just playing. I was in it. All right, I think this is gonna be the one that we're different on. Main event: Zabit versus Calvin Kattar. Who you got?
I got the uncrowned champ, Zabit.
Okay, yeah, you're a big fan of him.
I'm a big fan of his fighting style, man. Like he's very creative, man. He's very creative when he fights. He puts things together. I think he's just on a different level than most fighters. And I'm not talking about like striking it. I'm talking about like the creativeness, how he chains things together. Have you seen that trip takedown that he did against I forgot who it was in his last fight?
Nuh-uh.
So he goes at him like he's gonna do a collar, like a clinch.
Uh-huh.
And then he slips his left leg behind him, and then he pushes him down and ends up at half guard. It was really nice, man. There's a video out there. I'll send it to you so you can check it out. But he's just very creative, man. He's very creative. He's loose out there. He's in his home base, basically in Russia. I imagine the testing is lax out there. I'm not saying he's on the juice, but I'm not saying he's not on the juice either, or he is or he isn't. I don't know. But and it's a tough fight for Qatar, man, having to go out there. And Qatar's a tough dude, man. Like this is no disrespect to him at all, or his fighting acumen. He's gonna be a tough fight for Zabit, but I still think Zabit has too much for him.
Okay. I guess another. If you thought the Masvidal take was a hot take, this is a hot take. I think I'm going with Qatar on this fight. Something tells me I like Qatar a lot. He looked awesome in his last fight with the big knockout. I think he's going to be looking for that big knockout here in this fight, especially early probably. But I have more faith in Qatar if it goes past 3 rounds. If he's able to make it past 3 rounds and make Zabit have to dig down deep, from what I've heard and what I've seen, I don't have much faith in Zabit if it has to go to the 4th and 5th round, because apparently there's a meme of a fighter running away from another fighter, and it says Zabit, and then on one fighter that's running away, and the other fighter it says 5 rounds, 5-round fights.
That's not because he's tired. That's because he's been dropping out of them because he gets hurt.
He doesn't want to fight him. He doesn't want to do it. No, so I don't know. I just have this. Sometimes I go with my feelings. I have this feeling that Qatar is going to win this fight. I'm probably wrong. I'll probably be eating crow. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is not one of those fight cards that I'm very confident in. This is a weird fight card that I don't know how to pick.
Well, remember the last time we had a Russia card, which was about March, I believe. Mm-hmm. We were like, it's gonna be a boring card. It's not and it over delivered. Mm-hmm. So this fight, I'm not going in expecting a lot, but it has a lot to live up to in the previous card from Russia. So I'm kind of like, low key looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. So I'm gonna go with Zabit, and I'll tell you right now, not Zabit, I'm going with Qatar. But if Zabit knocks him out with that question mark kick, I'll buy you a 6-pack.
Hey, that sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, because that's a beautiful kick.
If Qatar knocks out Zabit, I'll buy you a 6-pack.
All right, cool.
Crawford Buck, right? Crawford Buck.
No, I think I want something St. Arnold's. I've been liking the St. Arnold's lately.
I'll look for some pub craw.
Ooh. All right, so let's go ahead and let's close this out. So make sure you follow the show's Twitter at Armbar Suplex. Let me put that on the screen real quick so you can see that. Follow it at Armbar Suplex. We'll post our fight predictions and all the other stuff that we'll talk about in the upcoming weeks. I think I'm gonna have my fight predictions probably early in the morning tomorrow. You'll probably have yours tonight. Probably. So we'll post that. We post them on our personal account. So my personal account is at Alec Miller 0423.
Mine is at The Real Jesus, and that's spelled JEEZUS.
Yes, and we'll post them there individually, and then they will both be posted on the show's account. So make sure you guys do that. Make sure you go to iTunes and Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud and look for Armbars and Suplexes on KTXF The Real, and give it a like, a share, a review, whatever it is on there, and download it, share it with your friends. Let them know that this is the best podcast for wrestling and MMA that you could possibly listen to. And make sure you guys listen out and keep your eye out for more shows like this, so that they won't always be 2 hours. They'll most likely be a little bit shorter and have more initial reaction type stuff. That's what this StreamYard stuff allows us to do.
Yeah, we'll have our schedule out on Patreon, so you guys can know when to catch us. For the most part, we'll have one long show, which is probably going to be Sundays, but we're still not 100% for sure if we're going to continue with the Sunday shows. Yeah. But definitely we have more options now, especially with the StreamYard. So we're going to be hitting you guys with more content. And then also let us know what you want to see, what you like. You want to see some more Q&As, or you want to see some fight breakdowns, or us going back in time and watching some old fights and old matches. We love to do those things. So that's what you guys want to see.
Definitely. So make sure you guys go on there, go to the show's Twitter, and let us know what you want to see in terms of Patreon and all that stuff. So that'll actually get started up pretty soon, as we get all this stuff ironed out and get everything down to kind of a like it's a second language where we just know what we're doing already. As y'all see, there's some kinks that we gotta kind of fix, but we'll get it. All right, guys. So make sure you guys look out for our next show. We'll probably post it once we figure out the exact day. We'll post it, and y'all look forward to that. Put it on your calendar. Let your friends know, and come in. And don't forget, if you're listening to the replay, if you go to the StreamYard when we're broadcasting, you guys can watch live and ask questions, and that'll be really fun. Or have your comments featured on the show. So make sure you guys check out for that. So I'm Alec.
I'm Jesus.
That's Jesus. Yeah, there he goes. And we will see you guys next time.
Oh, there you go. Later. AMF.